The holiday season. It makes you think of lots of things, doesn't it? Family, friends, what I'm getting for Christmas. And some people, I guess, think of angels. And Digimon actually has a very notable small group of angels, or archangels in this instance, and what better to put on your tree than 3 archangels? We have Seraphimon, Ofanimon, and Cherubimon Virtue, but just what would their evolution lines be? And can we take an even deeper dive into the dark side of these archangels? On today's video, let's find out. Happy holidays! What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to Karn's Holiday Hootenanny 2024. And yes, today I am talking about the evolution lines for the Archangel Digimon, the 3 Archangels. However, I also want to do a bit of a deep dive into them for this video, and there is actually, while you may think it's very obvious what they would evolve from, there's some lore that actually is worth diving into and about some stuff that is actually speculative and we don't fully know yet. And some stuff maybe that you just didn't know. So interestingly, the 3 Archangel Digimon actually have an entire Digimon profile dedicated to them on the Digimon website. As Agumon Expert says, they are 3 Digimon called Celestials, who guard the kernel of the digital world. These are the greatest of all holy Digimon. We got Seraphimon, who reigns over Angel Digimon, the Digimon closest to the embodiment of all goodness known as God. It is the marshal of God's law. It's the martial law. Ofanimon, the holy mother of the digital world. Ofanimon provides mercy and compassion for all. It uses the special move Eden's Javelin. And Cherubimon Virtue Good is the steadfast defender of God and wisdom in the digital world. It wields lightning as a weapon and its every blow is reminiscent of divine punishment. But what is the kernel? The kernel is rumored to be the place where all of the data in the digital world is computed. It's said that if anything should go wrong here, the digital world would be destroyed. However, the truth about the place remains unknown. What's more, the Super Angel Digimon Racielmon is said to have the power to see the entirety of the digital world through the kernel. Isn't that interesting that they bring up Racielmon here? Racielmon was actually seen alongside these 3 and some other holy Digimon in Digimon Adventure 2020. I wonder if this kind of indicates that this group of 3 Archangels could eventually expand its ranks to 4 Archangels. Hell, maybe the 7 holy Digimon from Digimon Adventure 2020 are actually what would eventually become the 7 Great Archangels? I don't know. The 3 Archangels' main anime outing, though, was of course Digimon Frontier, protectors of the digital world who opposed Lucamon. And each of them were actually the ones entrusted the legendary spirits. Seraphimon had light and wind, Ofanimon had fire, thunder, and ice. A little bit disappointing that Ofanimon had thunder, given that Cherubimon Virtue is supposed to wield lightning, but whatever. And Cherubimon Virtue had the spirits of darkness, earth, wood, water, and steel. But what would their evolution lines be? Well, this is very straightforward for their regular forms. I think it makes a ton of sense that these Archangel Digimon, while of course being prominent in Frontier, there's a reason they put them into Adventure 2020. I feel like they are deliberate callbacks to the Adventure continuity and kind of the de facto evolutions in all media for these Digimon. Cherubimon Virtue, because it is the virtuous side of the Lopmon evolution line, I think it would be specifically Lopmon to Teruimon to Antilamon Deva, that is the data version, and then Cherubimon Virtue, of course. Ofanimon, Salamon, Gatomon, Angelwomon, No Brainer, and Seraphimon, Patamon, Angemon, and Magna Angemon. Though I do think it's very likely that specifically the 3 Archangels version of Seraphimon could have a Magna Angemon Priest mode, or even something like a Arch High Angemon as its pre-evolution. Very possible. The real meat of this video, though, is when we start to explore the fallen versions of the 3 Archangels. Yes, going back to the Digimon profile, it is said the fallen Celestials from left to right, BlackSeraphimon, Ofanimon, Chaos Mode or Falldown Mode, and Cherubimon Black, are the forms taken by the 3 Celestials when negative emotions sprouted within them, swelling day by day and making them fall to darkness. So I was thinking, what if these 3 evil forms kind of became the de facto? If you think about how Digimon depower after battle and things like that, what if the darkness was so ingrained integrally into these Digimon when they fall to darkness, when these holy Digimon do the one thing they're not supposed to do? How would that alter their evolution line? Cherubimon Vice, of course, is our big obvious example. We have this evolution line in Digimon Adventure 02 Hurricane Touchdown, Lopmon becoming Wendymon, the corrupted evil of the Lopmon line. Survive fans PTSD is at an all-time high. Then specifically the non-Deva Antilamon, because that is the virus one, and then ending up on Cherubimon Vice. Something interesting to note is that Cherubimon Vice and Virtue have X-antibody forms too, and we are going to touch on those a little bit more in a bit. I do wish though there was like a Cherubimon X, Wendymon X, and Antilamon X to bridge that gap between between Lopmon X and the Cherubimon X antibodies. For Ofanimon Falldown mode, I think it makes a ton of sense that its pre-evolution would kind of be the antithesis to Angelwomon, Lady Devimon, and then her pre-evolution would be BlackGatomon. We have a lot that indicates this is the intended case. Maybe not for the adventure continuity, but for the general kind of like Gatomon continuity, I guess. When we look at things like the card game, Digimon Stories Cyber Sleuth, Gatomon and BlackGatomon becoming Angelwomon and Lady Devimon, and then, well, potentially Mastemon. But also in this instance, I think Lady Devimon to Ofanimon Falldown mode makes a ton of sense, with the rookie still being Salamon. Ofanimon, similar to Cherubimon, has two X antibody forms too, a regular Ofanimon X and an Ofanimon Falldown mode X. Also, Ofanimon gets it a lot better than Cherubimon, as Salamon, Gatomon, Angelwomon, and even Ofanimon's other half, if you will, Magnadramon, all have X antibody forms too. That then brings us to BlackSeraphimon, probably the one that we have the least amount of information on what it could possibly have as a full evolution line, as it has appeared just less in general. In Digimon World 3, it just shows up as a boss. We don't have an evolution line for this version of BlackSeraphimon, and for this more modern Digimon Frontier style BlackSeraphimon, technically Mercurymon digivolved into BlackSeraphimon using the data of Seraphimon, and honestly, if you look at it visually, it does really work as part of an evolution line of Mercurymon and Sephirothmon, with Mercurymon acting as the champion form and Sephirothmon acting as the ultimate form, leading into the Mega BlackSeraphimon. As for a rookie, well, kind of this brings us back to our Frontier rookies discussion. Do we use Miramon, the Appmon? I mean, Appmon are getting more love than ever recently. It's my personal favorite pre-evolution for Mercurymon. You could also use something like Monitamon if you wanted to, or indeed tying in the Angemon side back into the evolution line, and specifically those purplish wings. Tsukaimon or Demi-Devimon would be absolutely perfect here. You could even throw in Lusamon if you wanted. That would be the ultimate irony. Seraphimon, one of the three Celestials supposed to combat Lusamon, ending up with a Lusamon in its evolution line. And speaking back to the X antibodies, Seraphimon is absolutely the most hard done by. There is no Seraphimon X, no Magna Angemon X, Angemon X, Patamon X. There's only a Tokomon X, the in-training form. Utterly bizarre decision there, Bandai, but okay. But you've seen the runtime. This video isn't over yet. There's more we need to discuss about evolutions, mode changes. It's up in the air. Because remember that bit I read about the Fallen Celestials before? Well, there was a little bit tagged onto the end that I kept from you. It said that should they fall further to darkness, they would become Demon Lords. Oh, that's fascinating. Yes, falling to BlackSeraphimon, Ofanimon Falldown mode, and Cherubimon Vice is not as dark and as fallen as these Angel Digimon can go. This is actually backed up by some other Digimon reference book listings. If we go over to Demon, or Creepymon in the dub, terrible name, Demon was originally an Angel Digimon like Devimon, of a particularly high level. This is a bit of a vague illusion and can be seen as being any high level Angel Digimon theoretically. However, thankfully, we are explicitly told that it's actually supposed to be Seraphimon in Seraphimon's own Digimon reference book listing, which states the Digimon Creepymon, or Demon, which fell to the dark area and became an evil king Digimon, is said to have originally been a Seraphimon. So what an incredible fall to darkness we have there. This also, I think, in some ways, I talked about this a little bit in my Digimon Adventure Villains evolution lines, cements Demon as the potential original kind of intended mega for Devimon and possibly even Myotismon, as we did have a prominent Demon in the V-Tamer manga, and this connection between the Angel Digimon and Demon has been cemented, on top of the fact that things like Digimon Adventure 2020 cement a connection between Angemon and Devimon, potentially being two halves of the same coin. Demon and Seraphimon are two halves, Angemon and Devimon are two halves. Although, of course, now we also have Done Devimon thanks to Adventure 2020, which kind of shakes things up a little bit. But that's done and dusted, kippers and custard. The next is also very straightforward, because Lilithmon, Digimon reference book listing states, Lilithmon is thought to have once been an Ofanimon, but it fell from grace, transforming into that which came to be known as the Goddess of Darkness. So yeah, obviously an even more fallen Ofanimon Falldown mode would become Lilithmon. This also works for the evolution line I talked about before, because we can now consider Lilithmon as kind of the dark half or dark counterpart to Ofanimon, having Lady Devimon be her pre-evolution, which is very common in things like Digimon World Redigitize, Decode, Cyber Sleuth, Next Order. Lilithmon, I think, has become the de facto Lady Devimon Mega, which in turn makes BlackGatomon work even better. You can almost consider it like Mastemon, as its Digimon reference book listing states, is a result of Angelwomon and Lady Devimon's conflict being resolved. They unite and achieve Jogress evolution. Instead, when they don't unite, we get Ofanimon and Lilithmon as their megas. And indeed, if Ofanimon then falls to darkness, becoming Ofanimon Falldown mode, she eventually becomes Lilithmon, her enemy. But what of Cherubimon Vice? We don't, as far as I know, as far as I could research, have a demon lord that explicitly mentions or alludes to Cherubimon in its Digimon reference book listing, unlike Seraphimon and Ofanimon. I believe our best pick is likely Belphemon Rage mode. It's a member of the demon lords and a very beastly one at that. Cherubimon Virtue's role in the three archangels is that of a cherub beast, and the beastly Belphemon Rage mode aligns well with that. In addition, Belphemon Rage mode, as its name implies, is the counterpart to Belphemon Sleep mode. And while all these angels have a mode or form change of some variety, as we discussed in this video, I think Cherubimon is one of the three archangels that you most think of having a mode change. The Vice and Virtue halves are more integral to its character than I think Falldown mode is to Ofanimon and BlackSeraphimon is to Seraphimon. There's a lot more media, I think, where you see specifically Cherubimon flip between Vice and Virtue, where there's a lot of stuff that you can just have a Seraphimon or just have an Ofanimon without their dark half. Similarly, while some demon lords have form or mode changes, Belphemon is the one with a mode change most integral to its characterization, in my opinion, outside of course, Blast mode would be Elzamon, which, yeah, could be a contender, but the only other demon lord that I truly think might work here is Leviamon, as Leviamon is the demon lord of envy, and we see the word envy employed fairly deliberately in the Digimon reference book listing for specifically Cherubimon Vice X antibody, where specifically the effect of the X antibody is said to have filled it with envy at having given up on ultimate goodness and hates the world for causing its fall. This to me is a pretty obvious indication that envy is the negative trait that led Cherubimon Vice to become Cherubimon Vice X antibody, and may indeed be the trait, the vice that leads it to become a demon lord, perhaps as Leviamon. And Leviamon is also pretty beastly. This is Digimon at the end of the day, so if you think that a big evil corrupted rabbit becoming a big evil corrupted crocodile or alligator is crazy, it's not that crazy. But that is it, evolution lines for the three archangels, as well as exploring what happens when they fall to darkness and fall to darkness again, ×2. Really, while this is an evolution lines video, this also is a bit of a lore information video and some kind of hypothesis on falling to darkness. It makes me wonder what other Digimon could fall and become demon lords. What would happen if Racielmon, mentioned in the Digimon profile for the three archangels, fell to darkness? I mean, yeah, Ragglemon, right? But maybe Ragglemon could fall to a demon lord. Maybe I'll do a video exploring which of the 7 holy Digimon would become the 7 great demon lords. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments down below. Thank you to my sovereigns, ZDK14 and Ranma Greyfire, as well as everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/Karn EX, and thank you to my YouTube channel members for holding it down. You guys are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much to all the new Digidestined this month, and I will see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.